Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. I get Shabbos, good Shabbos.
So we started this year with the pasuk Matoivu Oyolecho Yankov Mishkan Noisecho Yisrael, and those are both the Knesias and both the Midrashis. So I wonder, why did Bilam want to curse the Jews? They should have no shuls. I don't think Balak has a problem with koilelim or yeshivas. I don't think Balak hates B'nai Torah. He is afraid of demographics. Pen Yirbe. Jews multiply too fast. And many other Sunni and anti-Semites are afraid of from demographics. So he's afraid the Jews will be a fifth column, and in times of war they might take the other side. So I think Balak is the least concerned about yeshivas and koilelim. He should be more concerned about Jewish warriors and Jewish fighters and the martial art experts and the bodybuilders, Weissvos, all these havolim. He should be afraid of them. So why is Bilam coming to curse they should have no shuls? And the answer is very simple. Bilam was a Navi. He knows the secret. He knows the secret of Jewish eternity. He knows what keeps us going. It is only Torah. Yesterday was the yahrzeit of my great Rabbi, the Kloisemer Rebbe Zecher Tzaddik Levracha. And there's a story I tell many times. My father, my late father, Zecher Tzaddik Levracha, first time he met my great Rebbe and his great Rebbe, Hagon HaKodesh, the Tzanzer, the Kloisemer Rebbe, the Divrei Yatzer. My father arrived in Auschwitz first day Shavuos 1944, Tovshin Dalet. That very same day he lost grandfather, grandmother, father, mother, and five out of eight siblings. The Tzaddik, the Kloisemer Rebbe, arrived one day later, second day Shavuos 1944, and he lost his wife and 11 children in Auschwitz. He was left all alone. And my father heard that Rebbe is in the next barracks next to where he was staying. He sneaked out in the middle of the night and approached the Rebbe and said, "My name is Moshe Weiss, and I would be so honored and overwhelmed by getting to know the Rebbe, to be mishamishim." And the Rebbe was taken aback, and he said, "Bocha, the mindset that Selfen said, the Gurnish Alfen. Young boy, if you think it's going to do you any good to become close to me, I don't think it's going to do you any good." And my father responded, "Avada vetes mehelf, and it'll do me good because we could talk and learning." And the Rebbe was surprised, and he said, "Bocha, you're in Auschwitz and you want to talk and learning." And my father said intuitively, "Of course I do, because if we don't talk and learning, how will we make it? How will we prevail? How will we survive?" And the Rebbe gave him a big hug, and they talked and learning for the next 12 months. And they talked and learning for the next 45 years. And my father became one of the closest confidants and mishamshim of the Rebbe. And all my 6 other brothers had the schus to be mishamish and be talmidim of this great gadol and this great tzaddik, schusay togen oleinu. What my father intuitively felt in his heart as an 18-year-old boy, if we don't talk and learning, how will we survive? That is the secret of Jewish eternity. That is how we made through this torturous Gonos. That is what Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai understood 2,000 years ago when he pleads with Aspasianus, "Ten li yavna v'chachomeha." He knows Beruach Kodshoy that the Beis Mikdash is doomed, and that's a Gemara Masechet Yuma. Ruach HaKodesh tells the Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, "Habayis osed lechorev," and he also knows that the only guarantee for our eternity as a people is Yavne v'chachameo. As long as we have yeshivas, as long as we talk and learning, we survive. When we cease to talk and learning, we perish. And that's the other story of Chorban Abayis, Rebbe Kiva and Papos. Rebbe Kiva Makalkilis Barabim, and Papos asked them, "Don't you know the Romans gave out a decree, you can't learn Torah And Rabbi Akiva says, of course I'm afraid. But I want to share with you a mashal. The fox and the fish. And the fox turns to the fish, why are you afraid? And they say, don't you see there are fishermen out there? On the bank there are fishermen, they put nets into the water. They want to fish us and catch us and eat us. And the fox turns to the fish and he says, so why don't you come up here? There are no nets up here on the riverbank. And the fish say, are you the fox? People say you're so clever. You're a fool. And you're not very wise. We are water animals. This is where we have life, and we're still afraid. If we go up on land, we die. We can't live up there. And whenever I recite this mashal, I ask a very fundamental question. The Gemara says the fox turns to the fish and he says, when was that? Did the forefathers of the fox and the forefathers of the fish ever live together on land? Definitely not. Never. So what is he talking about? If I would be a fish in that river or in that pond, I would say, you're not only a fool, you're a liar as well, because our forefathers and your fathers never lived together. They can't live together. And I think that is an integral part of the mashal. In every generation, in every society, non-Jews and even some Jews, non-Jews and some Jews turn to B'nai Torah and they say, why are you different than anybody else? It doesn't make sense the way you live. You learn and learn and learn, and you never stop learning. And much of the stuff you're learning is not very, very relevant. And I hear this many times from wonderful people. You know, more modern Jewish people in America, wonderful people, but more modern outlook and hashkafa. And they want to know, my kids are learning in Kol Yerushalayim. When will he get his diploma? When will he end learning? And where is this going to take him? So what is he going to be? Will he have smicha? Will he become a rav? And when they ask me, when will he stop and end his studies? I say, he will end his studies when HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides to take his neshama up to the heavens. Up to that point, he will learn. Vogisa b'yoyimom v'layla. So we are different, and nobody understands why we're different. So your boy in yeshiva is learning, what is the likelihood that he'll ever have an ox? 0. Well, what is the likelihood that his neighbor will have a cow? Twice 0. And how likely is it that your son's ox will kill your neighbor's cow? That is 3 below 0. So why are you learning something that is irrelevant? And we say we learn because we learn. Because this is Devar Hashem. We learn because Ki Hi Chayechem V'Oirech Yomechem. We learn because Torah is Mekadosh and Torah is Metayar. We learn because whatever you learn gives you insight and understanding and wisdom and Kedusha and Tahara and holiness and brings you closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So fox turns to fish and he say, come up here, let's live together. And we say, we can't live together, we never did. You're land animals. We're water animals. We can't breathe up there. You can't breathe down here. So don't try to teach us how to live our lives. We know how to live our lives. We were born in the sea. Toiranim Shalalamayim. This is where we were born and this is what we breathe. You can't breathe what we breathe, so you stay up there and please don't try to teach us how to live our lives. We're water animals. And the first time we opened our eyes, what we saw was Moshe Rabbeinu v'shnei luchos bis biyodei, and that was at Har Sinai, thousands of years ago. It's part of the mashal, and it's part of what we need to understand. As long as we talk and learning, we survive. If we don't, we perish. And Bilam is a Navi. He's a prophet. He knows that secret. As long as they have Boteknosias and Botemedrashas, nobody could destroy them. And throughout history, this is fascinating. Whenever there was terrible decrees against Jews, and somebody thought he has the final solution, and we were persecuted and tortured and killed and murdered and robbed and mobbed. Before Jews were killed, their books were burnt. I visited Berlin a few years ago, and they took me to a plaza, and there's a big plaque up there. This is where in 1936 Jewish books were burned. That was before the Germans murdered one Jew. Leil Abdolach, Kristallnacht, before they even started building the gas chambers and the crematoria. Hundreds of shuls were torched and destroyed and put on fire. I don't know whether they understood this consciously, but mazle chose. Yes, you need to burn their shuls, you need to destroy their books. And that is why Bilam said, Shalo yiyah bohem, but the Knesset about the Midrashes. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu hafach bracha laklala. Ma toivi oyolecha Yaakov mishkanasech Yisrael. How glorious are your shuls, how magnificent are you yeshivas, the Botei Medrash. And that's what keeps us going. As my father, when he first met his great Rebbe, my great Rebbe, Zechet Tzadik v'Kodesh L'Vrocha Schusi Togan Aleinu, that is what he felt, and that is the sentiment he expressed, and how touched and moved the great Tzaddik was. If we don't talk and learning, how will we prevail? That's what we've been doing for the past 2,000 years, and that is what we plan to do for the remaining years, till we will be Zoicha, Bekora b'yameinu to bias Moshiach Tzedkenu, B'mheiro v'yomeinu. Amen.